By now you guys know who my favorites are, who my picks are for the Mae Young Classic, you know, who I want to win, who I've got a personal connection with in this tournament. Tonight, the first night of the Mae Young Classic, I had a couple of smiles, I had a couple of cries, but let's talk about it. Get to sit back and enjoy this show after ranting about NXT. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your Mae Young Classic review for September 7th. This is the very first episode of the 2018 Mae Young Classic. It is round one. We are off to the races. We've got Beth Phoenix, Renee Young, and Michael Cole on commentary. I'm always going to talk about how awesome it is that they're using a Hailstorm song as the theme this year, which is really good. We started off with a highlight package from last year's Mae Young Classic, and it's all good, and it's leading into this year, leading into talking about Evolution. All the stuff we've basically already heard if you watched the Parade of Champions, if you watched the Bracketology, if you watched the qualifying match that we had on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. Not really much else to say other than getting into the matches. First match was Tegan Nox versus Zatara, and if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm just going to apologize in advance. There's a lot of foreign names involved in this tournament. If I pronounce them wrong, please correct me down in the box below, or just understand that I don't know all these people. I don't know all the pronunciations, etc. Starts off with the handshake. I like it. It's very cool. It's something they've carried all the way through the Cruiserweight Classic, through the Mae Young Classic, the first one, the UK tournament, etc. It's a very cool. I know they do it in Ring of Honor. You know, it's the Code of Honor or whatever the hell it is. They actually make it a thing. I like it. They took time several times on commentary tonight to point out the her name's Jessica. I can't think of her last name right now. The blonde referee in NXT, who's, you know, the trailblazer because she's the first full-time female referee in WWE, etc. Nice to see her. Nice to see. I don't even remember what her name is. That's so terrible. The backstage chick that was doing the announcing tonight. It's all good. They didn't do a whole, like, they didn't do a lot of that backstage stuff like they did with the last Mae Young Classic, where they went, okay, let's update the bracket. Okay, we know who won. We know what the update of the bracket is because we just saw the matches happen. I think that's a really cool thing. I love that they're not dropping it Netflix style like they did last time. I think that's a really cool thing. Michael Cole is not as obnoxious here as he is on a regular Raw. Renee Young, Beth Phoenix are handling themselves better than I even expected. And the first match, as I say, is Tegan Nox versus Zatara. It starts off with the handshake, collar and elbow tie. Nox works the arm, reversed by Zatan. Both trade wrist locks for a while. Then there's a face wash by Zatara, just like, you know, paintbrushing her across the face. Rolling arm drags by Nox is the response to that. And head scissor and a dropkick. Zatara asks for a second handshake, but instead boots Nox in the gut. I guess luchadors are heels. I should have said Zatara, luchadora. It's weird. I know it's a cultural thing, and I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. But watching the women wrestle in the luchador masks it's not bad. It's just a very odd thing to see because I guess I'm not used to it. I don't watch a lot of wrestling from those cultures, so it was a new and different thing for me. But you can't see the facial expressions, and if she's going to be the heel in the match, not being able to see the facials, etc., it affects the way you watch the match. There's no way around it. Low dropkick by Nox. Zatara works the leg in the ropes. Dropkick by Zatara. Modified figure four and a forearm by Nox. Corner uppercut by Nox. Enziguri top rope crossbody boot by Zatara. Missile dropkick and some double knees. But Tegan Nox, being, apparently this is a thing, the girl with the shiniest wizard, wins with a pretty awesome shiny wizard, it's got to be said, and she wins round one. She will go on to face either Nicole Matthews or Ela Dawn, whoever wins their opening round match. I'm only going to mention it once, but they did it several times throughout the night, pointing out some of the dignitaries in the crowd. You had Leo Rush there, you had Ember Moon there, you had Alexa Bliss there, you had Dillinger, you had Funaki. Natalia was interviewed in the back just about how great this is. You know, I've heard that I inspired some of these women, and now that here they are inspiring me. It's all very nice, but it's all very fluff. It's all things we've heard before. I don't doubt that she means it. Don't take it that way. But anybody that gets interviewed is going to talk about what a great thing this is, and you know, we're all being trailblazers, etc. Now, as true as that is, it gets a bit repetitive. Rhea Ripley versus MJ Jenkins. Now, you guys know that watched my coverage of the Mae Young Classic last year. I was a big fan of Rhea Ripley. She impressed me right off the bat. She sort of grabbed my attention for somebody who was, as they said here, relatively young. Now, she's gotten herself all pissed off about not winning last year. Gotten a little darker, you know, a little bit more of a heavy metal entrance, you know, the leather and chains and the whole fucking bit. And she's hot as fuck to boot. I have to say it. Taking on MJ Jenkins, who was really hyper. Ripley waves off the handshake again, right, like Zatara in the previous match. Let's just establish that she's the heel. She's big. She's a bigger girl, and she just throws this girl around a whole bunch. Anyways, chops by Ripley and rolling arm drags by Jenkins. Jenkins tries a springboard and is drop kicked by Ripley right out of the damn ring. Face plant by Ripley and clubbing shots to the back. Lariat by Ripley and more clubbing shots to the back. Mudhole stomp by Ripley and a delayed vertical suplex. Now, I love when people that play the power game, when they do the vertical suplex, when they get that presence about them where they've got them up in the suplex, and it's that attitude of, I could just hold you up there forever if I want to, and I'm done now. Abdominal stretch by Ripley. Not only an abdominal stretch, but digging the point of the elbow into the exposed ribs during the abdominal stretch is great. And as I say, Beth Phoenix on commentary did a great job of describing what that does to you. Hip toss by Jenkins, which is impressive with the size difference, etc. Throwaway toss by Ripley, just tossing her around. I'm going to borrow an expression from... can't think of the gentleman's name. Adam Cleary from What Culture? Tossed her around like an empty tracksuit. Oh yes. Forearms by Jenkins, back elbow and a tackle. Boot by Jenkins and a dropkick, but a pump handle fucking powerbomb gets the win for Rhea Ripley. Pump handle powerbomb. If you don't watch anything else from this show, go back, watch this match, watch the last 10 seconds or so, watch the pump handle powerbomb by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley wins and goes on. She's going to face the winner of Reina Gonzalez and American Ninja Warrior chick that I don't care. I know somebody told me down in the comment section below, and I do appreciate it. You know, I asked, why did they make such a big deal that she was on American Ninja Warrior, and apparently she was the first female ever to finish it. I get it, and I get that it has to be like a first thing. We have to, you know, there's the first person ever to do it, and then there's the first woman to do it. I get it. And congratulations, my hat's off to you, whatever. I probably couldn't do it. Let's be real, I definitely couldn't do it. But I don't care. That's just a thing. No offense to the girl. I'll see how she wrestles, and if it is what it is, then it is what it is. But anyways, Vanessa Craven taking on Lacey Lane. Lacey Lane looks like a steampunk version of Ember Moon, and I'm not saying that just for the obvious reasons, but I'm saying, like, with the way she presents herself, the way that she's super expressive, the way that she's got that really, really alternative look, her entrance with the cloak and the hood and the whole thing, very, very similar. Lots of energy. I said about MJ Jenkins came in with a lot of energy, but it was just like MJ Jenkins. I got the opinion or the impression that I'm going to be really, really hyper, and you all are going to love me, and you're all going to be really sad when I lose. Lacey Lane was definitely the smaller person in this match, because Vanessa Craven, another one, fucking huge and terrifying, and sort of just, she had horns on her hood, and she just was like rubbing them like this, which was weird. And they call her the Mountain, apparently, and me, who's really, really late in the game and just started watching Game of Thrones, that's not a comparison you want to make, really. No. But Lacey Lane, basically, as I said at the beginning of the show, I went into this having my favorites, the people I'm familiar with, the people I want to see go far. This is somebody that I had no idea about, and almost instantly it's like, I like this chick, she's a badass, now she's one of my picks. That's it. That's all I got. I didn't know her. Now I like her from the little bit that I've seen. Series of evasion and kicks by Lane. Now, there's a whole bunch of this match. It's the first couple of minutes, and I have to say I feel a little bit bad, because it did make Vanessa Craven look a bit dumb. Every time she tried to stomp her, every time she tried to punch her or swing at her, it made her look like sort of a lumbering fee-fi-fo-fum. It wasn't the greatest for making Vanessa Craven look good, I'm not going to lie. Corner forearms by Lane and a top rope arm drag. Snake eyes on the apron by Craven. Obviously, size difference made that look really, really good. Mudhole stomp. Cannonball by Craven, sort of Kevin Owens style. Overhead backbreaker. Jawbreaker by Lane and a super kick and a corner spear. Running knee by Lane. Side slam by Craven. The side slam just looked like, again, I'm beating the point over the head. The side slam, when you see the size differential between these two girls, women, the side slam just looked absolutely devastating. But a back elbow by Lane and a double boot and a crucifix bomb. Now, the slam looked incredibly terrifying because of the size of them. The crucifix bomb looked equally impressive because of the size of Lane, because of the size of Craven. Lacey Lane wins. Lacey Lane looked like $1 million in this match. Vanessa Craven, because of the way the match was put together, didn't look very good at all. Nothing against the girl. Maybe she'll come back next year. Who knows? Lacey Lane goes on. She will take on the winner of Tanera Conte and Jessie Elaban. Tanera Conte, who we know from NXT. Hope good things for her. But right now, from what I've seen from this Lacey Lane, I wouldn't mind her going over Tanera Conte. And if Jessie Elaban, who's just another happy to be here, hyper... we see what WWE does with characters like that. Now, the main event was Killer Kelly, who I saw a little bit of in the UK special they did earlier this year, taking on Meiko Satomura. Now, I'm hoping, once again, that I am pronouncing that correctly. Now, they went to great lengths to explain that this woman has, like, 30 years of experience. She wrestled back on Nitro when Nitro was a thing. She's, you know, very respected in her home country, like 30 years of experience or some ridiculous number like that. Apparently, she started her own company at one point, so ridiculous respect for this woman. And, you know, for somebody not familiar, I'll tip my cap, and you know, if you've done that much, then you kind of have my respect by default. Killer Kelly obviously being the young one in the match. Not only did they do the typical respectful handshake, but there was a bow of respect between the two. And I mean, Killer Kelly, the entire match, Killer Kelly, I think, was trying to hold back the impact of getting a chance to wrestle this really, really well-known legendary woman, which I thought was a really cool thing. But she is a badass. She does come across sort of like a Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville type character. I mean, obviously she has the background and in those type of contact sports. But it's one of those, like, here's a legend, here's an up-and-comer, but let's still try to book them in a pretty fair match. Both women trade kicks to the leg to start, sort of a feeling out process, like the dictionary definition of a feeling out process. One of them being from the strong style, one of them having the MMA background. The common thing they're going to have is the striking, so they try to take out each other's legs really, really quick. Forearm by Meiko and whoa, lost my place. This is why you shouldn't do this shit this late at night. Front slam by Kelly, side kick by Meiko, and it gets reversed. Forearm by Meiko, and back to the headlock once again. Dragon sleeper by Kelly, bicycle kick and some forearm shots. Single leg grab by Meiko, who then transitions it into a leg and headlock. But, and you knew it was going to happen in this tournament at some point or another with all the strikers we have in this tournament. Once she let her out of the leg and headlock, we had, say it with me, say it loud, and say it proud, Meiko Satomura with the Daniel Bryan silly kicks. Oh yes, arm drag takedown by Meiko and a knee drop, vertical suplex by Kelly. Both women trade a lot of strikes for a long time. Dragon sleeper on the top rope by Kelly. Now I got to explain this to you. She's got Meiko facing outward towards the crowd. She comes up behind her. They're both standing on the second rope. She gets her in a dragon sleeper where they're both hanging off of the top turnbuckle. I can't describe it to you any better than that. Running low drop kick by Kelly and a fisherman suplex, Pele by Meiko, and a Death Valley driver. And the Death Valley driver was ridiculous. You saw the ring move. I mean, the ring moves all the time. But, you know, you think about a nice little safe, you know, the closest thing we have to a Death Valley driver these days is either Velveteen Dream's Dream Valley driver or something like the AA from John Cena. This was neither of those, and looked like she drove her into the ground like a freaking tent spike. Obviously, that gets the win. Kind of a bummer for me, because I liked the little bit that I saw of Killer Kelly at the UK show, and I liked the little bit of her that I saw here. But she has been signed to the NXT UK brand already, so there's a little bit of solace in that. We are going to see her in the future. At the end of the match, much like at the beginning of the match, we got the really solemn show of respect, the handshake, followed by reciprocal bowing, etc. But then after that, you know, Killer Kelly, she's not in the match anymore. She doesn't have to pretend to be a tough ass anymore. She does break down crying. She does get the hug from Meiko Satomura, and that's how we end the first round. Obviously, Meiko Satomura is going to go on in the tournament. She's going to face the winner of Ashley Rain and Mercedes Martinez. Now, when you talk about Ashley Rain, aka Madison Rain, a little bit of my favoritism is going to start taking over in that one. I like what I saw from Meiko Satomura, and I wish I was more familiar with her than I am. That's not going to overwhelm the favoritism that I have in this match. So, for episode 1, September 5th, Mae Young Classic, so far proceeding in the tournament, we've got Tegan Nox, Rhea Ripley, who I think is going to destroy people, Lacey Lane, and Meiko Satomura. That's it. And they didn't do any like weird, long, drawn-out diatribe after the last match was over either. And that's another thing that they did last year, was they threw to the back and they had another set of the updated graphics. No, they just left it on the end of the last match, and it was good. If this is what the Mae Young Classic has to offer us this year, it's going to be a hell of a ride. I hope you guys are going to join me on that ride. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out.